What's wrong?
I don't suppose you gave me anything before bed, did you? I looked over to see Diana sitting in the same spot as she was when I fell asleep, and staring at me, wide-eyed, concerned eyes. There was no mark on her chest, no cross in her eyes, which made me feel somewhat relieved. I looked around trying to see if Sarah was in the room, but he was nowhere to be found.
Are you all right?
Okay. Save. Okay. Tell her. I had to tell her about the dream. I turned to her and took her hand, making Diana gasp and stare at me in even more confused shock. I had a dream last night. Sarah locked you in some sort of jail cell and wiped your memory of me, and I couldn't do anything, and...
Wait, stop. What?
Diana took one of her hands from mine and placed it on my head. Did she seriously not believe me? I glared as she stared at her hand. It's true.
I believe you, but I want to see it for myself.
I stared at her, now realizing that she was taking energy from me from my forehead. Diana closed her eyes and remained silent for a moment. How would she react? As she pulled her hand away, she smiled at me.
It was a nightmare, dear. I'm sorry you had it, but I can assure you, no magic like what you saw exists, nor would Sarah ever do that to me.
Well, as long as we don't get a bad ending. I stared. I could certainly see the general feeling behind her words, but something in my gut wouldn't let this go. How could she be so sure that magic like that didn't exist? What if Sarah was a terrible person? But what if...
Sarah has been with me ever since I was a child. I would know if he was a bad person. There's nothing to...
Suddenly, the door to the room bursted open, causing Diana and I to separate and stare at the intruder. It was a soldier who seemed to be a runner for the army, judging from his outfit.
Princess, the Demon Lord approaches!
He couldn't wait for us to have a decent night's sleep, seriously. Diana was right, the Demon Lord was going to show up today. I looked to the far window to see the sun barely over the oddly coloured purple sky. It was morning, as Diana expected. Diana quickly threw her legs over the side of the bed and stood, pointing to the guard.
Tell every able-bodied soldier to head for the gates. I will be there shortly.
Let's go to war.
Yes, Your Highness!
The soldier ran out, followed by a handful of soldiers that either accompanied him or were heading in the same direction. I looked at Diana, surprised to see her ready. How much energy did she take during the night? As I got a good look at her, something about her seemed to have changed, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
I have to thank you, you know.
Huh? What? For what? Diana turned to look at me with a smile. As she did, I could see a faint layer of purple energy surrounding her form. Her form and her eyes glowing completely gold.
You gave me a large amount of energy last night.
Her voice echoed through the room, making me internally shudder. She sounded almost ethereal, and the power behind her voice almost drowned my senses. It was as if she was no longer a simple mortal, but a goddess. How much energy did she consume last night? As the energy and glow in her eyes faded away, Diana smiled. Diana took my hand and rushed with me out of the room, guiding me out of the castle. Around us, servants and soldiers rushed in one direction or another.
I need you there beside me when I face him. You won't be hurt, I promise.
Yes! We're going to war with Diana! Sorry, I'm just super excited. I thought she was going to have us wait on the sidelines. But I'm so glad that we never get to stay on the sidelines. I followed step by step, nodding in reply. I felt a bit honoured that she wanted me with her, but I shook off the excitement, knowing that I was walking towards the Demon Lord, who was approaching and would be face to face with it. Diana led me through the castle grounds and onto the battlements, overseeing the distance beyond the castle where a large line of creatures lined and outlined the horizon. I felt my heart stop as the tallest figure stood between them and us. Taller than any man I'd ever seen was a man I was met for the first time, the Demon Lord. The mere sight of him sent fear down my spine. But this was a man who hurt Diana, so he was my enemy.
City of Lilith, rejoice! You will fall before the sun reaches its peak.
I like the fact this city is called the City of Lilith, because Lilith is a very important demon as well. And I could go into the whole entire history of Lilith, but hey, let's just carry on with the war. Diana released my hand and stepped between the embrasures of the wall and walked through the air towards the ground like she was descending an invisible staircase. As she did, I jumped at the sound of the soldiers on the ground, pointing their weapons towards the incoming army. Diana's voice bellowed through the air, causing the line of creatures to step back in fear. As her feet touched the ground, the air seemed to pulse with energy. However, the demon lord stepped forward with a dark grin.
Succubus! You have returned. You have failed to bring my sons home, it seems.
You failed to keep your end of the bargain, big boy, and on top of that, you want to get your sons home? Do it yourself. You're their father. She's not the goddamn nanny.
Remi posteris mestri pictmae, nihil tibi dibio.
You killed her family. You made a bargain. You lied. Shows you nothing. Alright. The demon lord laughed at whatever Diana shouted, making me worry for Diana. Would she be okay on her own? She stepped forward a couple of feet before pointing her palms towards the ground. Ooh. Wow. Before my eyes on Diana's back, the marks that adorned her skin began to dance and weave before detaching themselves from her body and forming two large demonic wings. They flapped against the air in unison, causing a large gust of wind to push forward. She looks so pretty.
Soldiers of Lilith, come to my side if you wish to shed my enemy's blood.
As Diana spoke, the soldiers who gathered at the front rushed forward and stood in two lines at Diana's side, pointing their weapons at the demon lord and his army. In number, Diana's soldiers were outmatched 10 or 20-fold. However, something told me that the battle would be in Diana's favour. At my side, a large line of archers positioned themselves and aimed at the army, ready to fire on command.
Steady, men!
I looked to the side to see Thero walking towards the line with his hands raised, waiting for a signal. However, the sight of him made me remember how he was in my nightmare. Could he be as evil as he was then?
Patro Verdis! Astit covevomi Mika!
I wonder what this bit here is. This seems a bit weird, this section bit here. Regardless. From Diana, a large thick tendril with a gigantic mouth began to quickly sprout and spill out from the magical circle, floating around her chest, sliding across her body down towards the ground. As I stared, I recognized the shape of the mouth from when Diana first met me, when she dangled me over it before letting me make a deal with her. Oh, her monster. Soon the tendril released itself from Diana's body and took physical form with a large purple and black scales. A head formed with its teeth was convulsing with a new moment as a wicked purple tongue lashed from its newly formed mouth. A giant 100-foot snake now stood between the demon lord's army and Diana's army. It hissed as the creatures in front of the line and began to slither forward in hunger. I didn't get a chance to watch it attack. I turned back to Diana to see her lift up off the ground, from a purple saber in her hand, lifting it above her head.
For the pride of Lilith, to battle!
At her last word, Diana flew forward and slashed through the air, causing a large purple arch to shoot out of her saber and strike down a section of the demon lord's front line. I watched as both armies charged forward and towards each other and began to clash swords. Beside me, a rain of arrows flew from the battlements down towards the incoming section of the demon lord's army, causing me to duck in case they returned fire. To my surprise and glee, the demon lord's army couldn't push Diana or her army back. They held their positions and cut down every enemy that came at them. The demon lord watched instead of fighting, glaring at Diana through the air, cutting down sections of the army with ease. The snake that Diana had summoned was dealing major damage to the enemy as well, carving through the lines and devouring handfuls of them at a time. Each time it did, it either got bigger or became much, much more menacing. I could barely take it all in. This battle was merciless, seemingly endless. Diana's army was small but had a strong morale, cutting through the demon lord's men with ease. The archers beside me continued raining down arrows on the incoming soldiers, hoping to nickel and dim their numbers for the ground troops. I was glad that Diana wanted me there, but I knew that I wasn't ready to fight in a war, so I kept crouching to watch the battle safely. Eventually, Diana's army began to push back, forcing the enemy soldiers to either retreat or try to regain ground. Diana, however, decided it was time to deal with the real threat and swooped down towards the demon lord. It's time to take on the big demons. Both demons arched their weapons at each other, Diana with her saber and the demon lord with a giant sword, and clashed steel as they did purple flames and red lightning spasmed from the impact and pressed against each other in a battle of strength. The demon lord looked so much bigger than Diana, but somehow Diana matched his strength and did not budge in the parry.
How? You cannot be this strong!
You know nothing of true strength!
You tell him, Die! Some of the battling around the duel stopped just from the sheer sight of Diana matching the Demon Lord's strength.
I am the Princess of Lilith. I will defy your will and save this world from your tyranny once and for all!
A collective gasp echoes through the air as Diana somehow managed to push back against the Demon Lord, forcing him to step back in the parry. Diana was doing it. She was defeating him. The Demon Lord slid his sword from the parry and swung again at Diana, making her block, but failed to push her back. He repeated this attack twice, 3 times, but continued to be pushed back each time. The soldiers around them took in the morale, inspiration, and fought back tenfold, forcing the Demon Lord's army back over the arching horizon. Diana and the Demon Lord, however, continued to clash swords, beating steel to steel. As the Demon Lord finally jumped back, he formed a large ball of red lightning in his hand, shooting it towards Diana like a flash of thunder. Diana! The attack impacted, sending Diana flying back. But with her wings, Diana managed to flip back to face the Demon Lord with ease. In retaliation, Diana formed a spiraling set of purple fireballs above her hand and chucked them at the Demon Lord. With a glare, the Demon Lord was slashed through each ball, forcing them to dissolve into air.
Isaiah!
Yes, that is her name. It's a wonderful name too. Diana glared hard in reply before flying at her opponent and slashing through the air with her saber. From there, it became a battle of blades and close-range magic attacks. Neither side would give in, and no soldier dared to step in, afraid of being the victim to one of their attacks. The duel became blurred by the sheer speed passing between them, frantic and powered at once. It was slightly dizzying. Not mention epic, I love this! Finally, the two slid away from each other. Diana was intact, breathing heavily from exertion, so much energy, and the Demon Lord was weaponless. Adjusting my eye, I could see he was no longer carrying a weapon and was gripping his arm tightly to stop some wound from bleeding out.
How could this happen? How?
Diana didn't respond. She flew forward to engage him again, but stopped as the Demon Lord's body became overcome by red lightning. As if the lightning had ended him, the Demon Lord's body vanished. Wait, what? Where'd he go?
I will return, and your kingdom will fall.
You're welcome back anytime. I'm pretty sure Diana will whoop your butt. His voice echoed through the air, haunting everyone, and making the trees around us bend and sway at its might. However, as the voice died out, the army, the Demon Lord, left behind vanished as well. It took a moment to take it in. We'd won the battle. We fought and drove the Demon Lord and his army out of the kingdom. We did it! Quickly, the soldiers of Diana's army cheered, huzzah, for victory. Diana's snake vanished at last, and she herself slowly began to fly back towards me. I was grinning ear to ear as she slid between the embrasures to me. Uh-oh. However, I did not expect Diana's eyes to roll into the back of her head and for her to collapse against me. I wrapped my arms around Diana as she indeed fainted in my arms. Aw, Diana used too much energy. Diana!
Isaiah!
She wouldn't be okay? As I collapsed on my knees with Diana in my arms, Zero rushed over and dropped to his knees beside us, taking one of Diana's hands. Diana, however, didn't react, even as energy began to flow from Zero to Diana's hand. Well, we got no other choice. We're gonna kiss Diana because she needs the energy, and in all fairness, after what she did, she deserves it. So let's kiss her. Sorry, Zero. She needed the energy to recover, and I had to help. I gently took her head in my hands and kissed her, letting her unconsciously take my energy. I could feel warmth slowly coming back to Diana's skin as we kissed, making me slightly smile. Diana's free hand gently slid up between our bodies and cupped itself over the side of my neck. If Diana was awake now, she was enjoying the kiss. We were sharing and wasn't going to let go just yet. I could feel my nerves dance as the energy slipped from me into Diana's lips. Before long, Diana disconnected that flow, pulling away slightly to cup me. Diana slowly lifted herself onto her feet. Instinctively, Sarah and I both grabbed onto Diana's arms, helping her up. She looked at both of us with a kind smile.
Thank you.
Aww. I couldn't tell which of us she was thanking, but I accepted it with a smile on my own. You did it, Diana. You drove him back. Diana chuckled a bit before standing up straight. Her wings that had been folded against her back splayed out behind her near us, causing Sarah and I to step back. As she began to speak, her voice boomed through the air. The cheers around us became silent.
Friends, we have won this battle. but they will not be gone for long. This is the beginning of a war to end tyranny, to end chaos.
I could tell that every demon in the area had their ears and hearts open to Diana. I felt myself become full of courage just from listening to her speak.
You have shown great courage today, but you must build even more for the war ahead. The Demon Lord will try to cut you down, but we will prevail. As I am the last living heir to this grand kingdom, I swear unto you all that I will fight until the very end and free this world of the evil that is the Demon Lord. With this, I urge you to stand with me and fight by my side, not as my subjects, but as my brothers and sisters. I ask now, who will stand with me?
Me! Sorry, I don't want to say that. The sound that came after was loud and eardrum piercing. The sounds of thousands cheers beat through the air and showed their alliance of every demon in the area, and then some. I could only stand in awe as Diana took in everyone's cheers and took in a heavy breath. It was then that I knew that I'd become a part of something grand at the sight of a woman who could and would change history. The following days were full of chaos. The Demon Lord tried to come back and reclaim his pride, but Diana somehow managed to push him back with ease, giving him more wounds than inflicted before. It was like the castle became an impenetrable fortress. Soon word spread around neighboring kingdoms of the Demon Lord's defeat, and continued failed attempts to attack. Many leaders sent messages for alliance, which Diana humbly accepted, and soon enough, we drove the Demon Lord's army far back away from us. After every battle, she would wind up in my arms, much to the slightly oblivious disapproval of Zero. Whenever a demon questioned my presence, Diana would simply wave them off with a small token of praise towards me.
She is my most honored guest, and she is here to help us win this war.
Still, the thought of what we officially began to make me concerned. Did Diana see me more than an energy source and ally? We'd kissed before we returned, but since then I couldn't have been more unsure. I began to question myself. Why was I here? I could only shake my head in response. I shouldn't doubt anything. We were in the midst of a war, and Diana at the front. She had many responsibilities, many that I would never even hope to think on. The pinnacle moment of our relationship, however, came when a brunt demon stormed into the castle all on his own. He was unarmed and carried a single item, which made many demons step away from him in fright. Diana, Zero, and I were in the war room with three other beings whom I had named Faye, Rabbit, and Shadow, for simplicity. When the door to the room swung open, everyone was forced to turn their heads from the map we were previously pouring over. Ah! Faye, don't do that, you scared me.
What is...
All protests became silent as the being who entered chuckled, struck the object in his hand onto the table. As it settled to stop in the middle of the map, all the demons in the room stared in absolute shock. Well, now we get to meet Brute for the first time. Interesting.